Okay, so I have my free space. I have a hard drive right here plugged in, and I have my BackTrack disc right here. It's on a DVD, not a CD for size restrictions. And now I am going to have to go into my BIOS on my computer. So let's shut this thing down. Okay, unplug your hard drive. And on a VIO system, when you see the VIO logo, hit F2. That'll take you to a setup utilities. At the top on a VIO, scoot over to boot. On this one, it has external boot. You must enable it simply by scrolling to it, clicking enter. Enable, disable. Mine's enabled. Scroll down, boot priority. Select first, second, third. What you're going to want to do is I set it up like this so it scans for an external device before a CD and before my hard disk. Hard disk is your internal hard drive, optical drive is your CD, and external drive is your USB that you're setting up for this tutorial. You can set it anyway like this, but external and optical must be before hard disk for this to work, because your hard disk is what's inside, and if you're doing this tutorial, I imagine you have Windows inside your computer already. So I'm going to back out. My settings are already saved. To change it, click enter, and you can change it to whatever. Mine's external right here. So since those are saved, continue. I've already saved them, so I'm just going to quit without saving. But first, before I do, I'm going to load up the BackTrack installation disk that I downloaded without saving. And it found the disk, so it should be loading here in a second. Disks are always slower to load than hard drives. So click enter when you see that boot menu. Now you're going to want to go to the top here and default boot text mode. Should see a screen like this. Okay, a window just like this popped up. Down at the bottom it will say root at BT:" £. This thing is not focusing very well. Anyways, when you see that, type start X. This loads your graphical user interface, also known as a GUI. Now you can plug in your USB drive down here, which I just did. That turned on, and this is loading. Okay, now you're going to see something like this if you downloaded the GNOME system. If you do the KDE, you'll have down at the bottom, instead of at the top here, plugged in my USB drive. I'm going to want to go up here to install BackTrack. this window pops up. Install. Obviously, I'm going to be English, so I'm going to click forward. Select your time zone. I'm just going to leave this at the standard Eastern time zone for this video. Keyboard layout. I'm in America, so I'm using the USA keyboard style, which it automatically detected. You can try and unmount these hard drive partitions. I would not if you still want hard drive capabilities, USB drive capabilities on your thing. Since I did not completely erase all hard capabilities on it, as you saw earlier, they will try and unmount it, but I'm going to leave them mounted so that it is not destroyed. Okay, so now that that's happened, just exit out of that unmount disk partitions window, and this thing should load here in a second. Okay, now you get a window that looks like, or it should look like this. It says at the top here, the first option highlighted. Sorry, my camera won't focus. Install them side by side. Since I already have Windows on my hard disk, it'll say this. Then it says you can erase and use the entire disk. But for the purposes of this video, we are going to specify partitions manually. That is your fourth and final option down here. So let's go forward. Okay, prepare partitions manually. The USB drive over here is going to be dev SBD or SDB. That's going to be your second one. Since we cleared free space, it should be a bunch of white at the top when you click on it. So now we need to set up our partitions that this is going to be loaded onto. Go down to your free space, then go down to add at the bottom here. The first one you're going to want to set up is a primary partition. This is going to be your root hard drive, or this is actually going to be your swap space. Easier to do swap space first. This is going to be 2,000 megabytes, and then you use as, change that over to swap area.